So welcome back.
So today we are going to make king cake, traditional king cake. Gonna be absolutely delicious, perfect for Mardi Gras. That's what they do in the South. Well, typically you would put a plastic baby in the cake, and then whoever gets that baby in their piece of cake has to host a party next year. However, we're not going to be doing that because we don't have a plastic baby, and I'm not sure that the plastic baby would hold up if we even did, because we'd have to get some kind of oven-proof baby. So we're not going to do that. But before we get started, here's a little joke for you. Why was the king only a foot tall? Because he was a ruler. Ha, ha, ha. Terrible, terrible, terrible. So without further ado, let's get cooking. To start, we're going to take 1/4 cup of warm water, and with force, we're going to add 1 tablespoon of sugar. Mix that on up until it's dissolved. Before we add the yeast, we want to make sure that the sugar water is between 110 and 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Add the yeast and stir that on up.
Mix it.
And set that to the side for roughly 10 minutes for that yeast to activate in the bowl.
While
that's activating, we're going to heat up our liquids and sugar in a saucepan. We will add 1/2 cup of sour cream, 1/4 cup of sugar, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 2 tablespoons of butter. Then we're going to stir this over medium heat until that butter in the mixture is melted. Oh, Ellie. That's why we wear aprons. Basically what we're doing is we're just going to bring everything up to heat so that when we add the yeast, it remains a warm temperature and doesn't bring that temperature of the yeast down. Now we're going to take our mixing bowl, add 1 egg and the bowl. Just kidding. Take that bowl out, add 3 cups of flour.
We love this cake.
Okay.
I like this king cake.
And our liquid mixture once it has cooled down between 110 and 120 degrees Fahrenheit. If this mixture is too hot when we add the yeast, it will actually kill the yeast, which is no dice because then you will get no rise. Once that's all in the mixer, we will add our yeast mixture. Now that it is nice and frothy, then we'll mix this on up until it forms a nice ball. Make sure not to over knead this, otherwise it will become chewy.
Let's make the dough.
We will then oil our rising bowl with some olive oil. However, you can use whatever oil you wish. Then we're going to use our strong muscles to lift this dough and dump it into the bowl.
I'm gonna dig it this mess.
Even though someone is excited to punch the air out of this dough guy, we are going to hold back for now and wrap this guy with saran wrap over the top of the bowl. And then we're going to set it in a warm area to rise until it is doubled in size. This will take roughly 2 hours. Once that dough has doubled in size, we're going to take our saran wrap off. And the moment you've all been waiting for, a whole 20 seconds for you, but for Ellie, it's been roughly 2 hours.
I punch it now.
You can punch it.
Yeah, punch it in a good spot.
We're going to give this guy a nice punch and take all the air out of this guy. Once this guy is all out of air, we're going to take him and throw him on a work surface and then spread flour over him and under him because we forgot to do it at first. We're then going to roll this guy out. Make sure to add flour if your rolling pin starts to stick to the dough. Once this guy is rolled out to roughly 1/8 an inch thick, we're going to paint a masterpiece on this dough with 2 tablespoons of butter. Make sure to take your screenshots now because you know this NFT is worth millions. Once that guy is coated with butter, we're going to sprinkle 1 teaspoon of cinnamon all over, 2 tablespoons of white sugar.
This cake doesn't look very good.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, and it will taste good too.
Then we're going to use a brush to spread out the clumps of sugar and cinnamon so that the flavor is dispersed throughout before adding 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. Then we're going to use our hands to spread out the seasoning and sugar since the brush wasn't cutting it to make sure that we have a nice coating throughout.
Colors! Colors! Colors!
Then we're going to add a little more cinnamon in places that we missed. Once this guy is looking good, we're going to roll this guy up. Make sure we get a nice tight roll on this guy.
The cake's supposed to be flat. It looks like a yin-yin.
Then we're going to take this and make a wedding ring shape and put it on a baking tray and let it rise for a bit. Roughly 1 hour. Basically until this guy has doubled in size but not quite and looks like this. Once we got that, we're going to bake that at 375 degrees Fahrenheit for 14 to 16 minutes or until the cake has become a nice golden brown color. While that's baking in the oven, we're going to make our frosting. We will start with 1.5 cups of powdered sugar in the bowl and add 2 tablespoons of melted butter, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, 2 tablespoons of milk, and 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Then we're going to mix that on up.
Working right in the circle. Working good.
Typically the icing of king cakes is white and you add different color sprinkles. However, we don't have purple sprinkles, so we're just going with fruit coloring. And plus, it just adds more color, right? So we're going to divide this icing into 3 different bowls.
1, 2, 3. That's 3 bowls.
And then we're going to add our food coloring. We are doing coloring gel and not the actual liquid. Feel free to use whichever one you want. We will then do 1 green, 1 purple, and 1 yellow. Make sure to add a good amount so that we get a good color on the icing and mix that on up like crazy. Now that we have our icing that we made and our cake baked, we are ready to doctor this thing up. We will start by adding the green icing. We want to add this so it's fairly wide but not too wide. Then we're just going to rotate through the colors, going to purple next.
So yellowy.
Then yellow, then back to green, and so on and so forth until we get all the way around.
This will be the best rainbow cake ever. Are we doing it all around?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Once we have all the colors on the cake, we'll sprinkle some sparkles on the matching colors to give it a little extra flair. As mentioned before, we only had yellow and green, so that's what we're rolling with. There you have it. All in all, this was a good recipe to bake with a toddler. Ellie enjoyed this one all the way through because, I mean, who doesn't like cake, right? I would give this a 4 out of 5 for baking with a toddler just because we are making a yeast dough and it does take a while. As far as eating it, she loved it. All right, so there we have our king cake. So without further ado, let's get taste testing. Ready? Yeah. So as you can see, there's nice, beautiful swirls. Looks absolutely delicious. So.
All right. Oh yeah.
Mom, I'm nervous.
What do you think, El?
Good.
Yeah, this is great. I really like it. It's not too dense. It's pretty light, kind of like a cinnamon roll, but a little bit different. Has that like a coffee cake cinnamon roll kind of vibe to it. It's really good.
I agree. It is absolutely delicious. Those flavors, the cinnamon, and that all come through. I mean, just traditional king cake. Absolutely delicious. So, with that being said, if you like this video, hit that like button down below. If you want to see more like it, hit the subscribe button and notification bell so you can be notified every time I make a new video. Until next time, we'll see you later. Bye!